So it's early in the format. I am very much a Johnny at heart. I like to brew. I like to try off meta stuff just to see what might stick. And here is something that I've come up with in an attempt to milk Steel Overseer for all that that card is worth. What if we can cram as many artifacts as possible into our deck, thus making Steel Overseer good, Shambling Suit good, and as a silly include, All That Glitters, the namesake card. But obviously it reminds someone of Ethereal Armor. Ethereal Armor only gives +1/+1 for enchantments, but even so, you still see it's a win condition, or at least a significant component of the plan in Pauper Boggle's lists. So maybe the fact that this counts artifacts too, and artifacts are more likely to be creatures, you can kind of milk this. If this is a Might of the Masses that sticks around, maybe it's good enough to play, right? But it's mainly in this deck for the surprise kill and for the humor value. So the rest of the artifact creatures, Stonecoil Serpent is an absolute all-star in the deck, and just probably in this standard format. The card is just very good. It incidentally blocks certain removal spells, can't get bounced by Teferi, and is just Creature Ball. In this deck, it actually does, it's in the 1-drop slot here, it actually does fulfill the role of a 1 often enough, because sometimes you want to play it as your 1-drop, because you'll have Steel Overseer as your 2, and then one of these dorks as your 3, and that means the Steel Overseer will keep growing it, right? So Steel Overseer, we know the power level of this card from Modern. What else do we get? Glass Casket, Prison Realm, as pretty nice low-drop pieces of removal that answer almost all of the threats in the format. Clockwork Servant, because we are mono white, so this is just, we've got 4 of a dorky artifact body that Steel Overseer will grow, but it also cantrips, so this could be a pretty good card in the shell. Shambling Suit will just become big, combos with All That Glitters. Arcanist's Owl finds us almost every card in our deck, so we've got 8 copies of decent sized body for the cost that also draws you a card. And then we've got a little bit of a value engine here at the top end with Ugin doing Ugin stuff, Karn digging us into our sideboard technology, and Mystic Forge, again, almost casting all the cards in our deck. Quick run through of the Karn Wish board. Manifold Key, you can tutor for this to give a creature unblockable. Let's say you've made your Shambling Suit gigantic, it's wearing all the glitters, it can get in for lethal. And you can also untap your Steel Overseer to get double counters in 1 turn. So, not good enough to main deck, but sideboard strategy there. Scrabbling Claws is our bad graveyard hate, should we need it. The backup Glass Casket is in the Wish board for aggressive decks and meddling small creatures. Sorcerous Spyglass is in here to shut off planeswalkers and fancy lands. Mystic Forge, our backup Mystic Forge, is in the Wish board in case we need value late game. Pattern Matcher is kind of fun because we've got a lot of play sets of creatures that draw a card. Pattern Matcher is another artifact creature that draws a card. God Pharaoh's Statue is one of my favorite Wish board pieces here. It's kind of a dream, but if your opponent stumbles and you get to 6 before them, and maybe they're stuck on 4 or 5, you can just wish for this, slam this down, lock them out. It's pretty brutal and a good way to steal some best of 1 wins. Meteor Golem is kind of the opposite of that plan. If it's a late grindy game, what's wrong with a nice 2-for-1 that you can get out of the board? So that's the Karn Wish board. Tell me how I should be building this Wish board. This is just what I came up with. I'm not sure what Karn Wish boards should look like anymore. We lost a lot of the silver bullets. Alright, let's jump into game 1 here. I'll go ahead and keep this hand. It's a little clunky with all these tap lands, right? At least they count themselves, so if we get a bunch of planes off the top, we can get the effect of this. So we'll play the tap land first, so we can get a Steel Overseer on 2. This is Blue-Green Flash, since they flashed in that darn Spirit Pirate there. So, no Quench, or maybe clunky mana from our opponent because they're going with that Temple of Mystery there. I feel like this is a good opportunity to get the Steel Overseer down. With Steel Overseer, it's the kind of thing that you can eventually, even if it's the only thing we manage to resolve, you can grow it to the point where it is a real contender in the matchup. So they've got 3 mana now for Sinister Sabotage, but they're going to go ahead and do a main phase opt. They played a land before the main phase opt, so that doesn't speak to land issues. I wonder why they wanted to main phase it. Because they're no longer representing Sinister Sabotage. Alright, Kraken for 1. We hit our planes, so now we are at 3 planes for Idyllic Grange. I'm going to drop this Glass Casket here, because if they counter it, because they want to keep their draw engine around, we can still sneak in our Serpent as a 1-1. And 1 mana 1-1 is still going to be okay here because we're going to grow it. So this will draw out... Okay, so it didn't draw out the Quench. It drew out instead an Unsummon, so they're going to bounce that back to hand. Our Glass Casket enters with no targets, but we'll still get to resolve our 1-1. So that's actually pretty solid for them. But because they can flash in the little pirate here, the Spectral Sailor at the end. But we still got to do what we wanted to do. We got to sneak in another creature onto the board that we can grow with our Overseer through their counter magic. So lucky for us, they missed on 4th green. Oh, they did not realize. Yeah, this guy has reach, right? So not only is he just Ugin's Conjurant or, a creature ball, but he's got reach, so he can block there. And we'll go ahead and grow him so he's out of range. Yeah, that was a misplay by our opponent. Idyllic Grange, we'll go ahead and put another counter on our Snake here. They're tapped out also, because they tapped to draw, so we can go ahead and get Stonecoil Serpent, our second one, down as a 4-4 for 4. Make it a 5-5 for 4, and we'll get him for 4. So we've assembled quite the board here. That they're not hitting second G to get Frilled Mystic, or their Ambushing Wolf was unfortunate, and then we kind of got stuff under their counterspells, and they're going to scoop it up. So that was kind of a fun one for our first match. Oh, this is beautiful. We just got to Silver Tier 1. Getting to that rank just made me really, really, really want to get to Gold during this video. Alright. We'll go into our second game here. I do like this hand. We don't really have a turn 2 play, but we have 2 pretty solid 3s. Oh, this Temple of Mystery. Oh man, I do not want to just play against Simic Flash again. This hand is the kind of clunky hand where if they're just going to start countering all our stuff, we're going to feel it. It could be some sort of Oko Food deck. I don't know if Oko Foods like their Temple of Mysteries, though, because they probably want to cast their Golden Geese in their Okos. Okay, that gives me a proactive 2 that would even be pretty solid against the Simic Flash deck, if that's what this is. Get in under the counter magic and grows into a little bit of a nightmare for our opponent. And of course, of course it is indeed Simic Flash. Right after we just played Simic Flash. Alright. How do I want to run this one? We could just drop this and make them have the counter magic, but maybe it's better to bait counter magic on this Glass Casket. I kind of like this idea where, oh, they let it resolve. That could be a tell that there's no bounce or counter magic in their hand, or that they just want to get one of their own critters down. We might see them flash in something at end of turn. Yeah, good old Brineborn Cutthroat. We're probably not going to trade with the Brineborn Cutthroat no matter what, but there's no need to tap it on our turn. So they were worried that maybe we would trade, but I think both of these 2-drops threaten to go ball out of control. So now I think we try for 2 mana spell and 2 mana spell. That way one can get countered and we still do something. The sequencing's kind of awkward. I'm going to lead with this because they could bounce it and then we get to recast our Overseer. It could be wrong to lead with this one. Oh, they're going to let us have it. I guess now we'll just swing because if they want to flash in another 2-1 and block, we get the 2 for 2, which I think is pretty okay since we have 2 cards in hand that will draw us out of this. Okay, so they're going to just bounce it later. I guess that's fine. And now we get our Glass Casket down. The bounce is actually kind of annoying against our Glass Caskets. Granted, it's still to hand, so we'll get to play our Caskets again, but they could set up something interesting with the tempo of getting their creature back at instant speed. I guess we'll go for a double Overseer now, so hopefully that means we'll at least have 1 Overseer once they're done countering all of our Magic cards. I'm kind of being conservative with the dorks that draw us cards, because that's one of the ways we can pull ahead is they're 1-for-1ing us with these counter spells. Sometimes I guess 2-for-1ing since they contribute a body to the board like Frilled Mystic, but okay, so they're going to go ahead and quench one of them. So they couldn't counter the first one, but they could counter the second one. But I guess now we got to start pulling the trigger on the cantrip and creatures. I'll start with the 3-drop because we may draw into a 2 if this resolves, but it's a little scary. Denying us our card draw here will be kind of obnoxious. I love the effect that Magic Arena has for Adamant. So yep, they're going to go ahead and use a main deck Mystical Dispute. Pretty spicy for best of 1 technology. And actually, weirdly kind of good that we're mono white, but we have a blue card in hand. So, Mystic Dispute could be pretty awesome against us, unfortunately. So we'll just go ahead and grow our Overseer. And next turn, I guess we're just going to commit this. Maybe now we use All That Glitters as a bait spell, but I'm priced in. I wonder what they're going to use to counter it. So they're going to go with a Quench here. If we had 1 more mana, we could get All That Glitters down. I don't think it's time yet to start turning my little Steel Overseer here sideways. I think I still want him to grow a little bit more powerful. They can flash in their Brazen Borrower now if they don't have anything better to do with their mana. Yep, here he comes. That's an animation where I mostly find it obnoxious rather than the Adamant one that I quite like, but hey, I appreciate the fancy pants graphics. We do what we can. Alright, take 3 in the air. They're leaving up their mana. We'll grow the Overseer. Well, we can try for double All That Glitters now. Opponent's looking to negate it. Actually might, now that they use the negate, I might just try to get their clock off the board. Ooh, nice. That's not a counter spell. Yeah, so we can get their clock off the board and get a scry. I don't think we need another land right now. I guess they're tapped down so we can get in for 3 here. Later we'll want to grow him to be a 4/4 so that he can't be eaten by their ambushing wolves later on down the road. I love that this All That Glitters gets stacked by our removal. So it's like our removal kind of pumps up our silly All That Glitters plan. That's the fun part about this deck. So there's a Frilled Mystic. So unfortunately, we are not going to get all that glitter to be gold. And we've got nothing but a land in hand. Luckily, we're kind of even on resources, and we've got ideally a lot of draw spells that we can get to, so we need to see more of our little adamant clockwork buddy or our birdie so that we can draw out of this mess. It's late enough too that Ugin would be excellent, Mystic Forge even. So attacking with 2, I don't know what they run that could be a pump spell, so I just went ahead and snapped off that block to get our boy up to 4. And we'll go ahead and crack in, because if they want to use the Wolfpack Ambusher there and trade, their Flash Wolf is so important to their plan. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tarmogoyf. Let's do this thing. 3 mana, 5/3. What is up? Alright. Fair enough. The Surveil on Sinister Sabotage is so good. Yep, they're going to get a land right off the top, so now they probably draw into some action, and they countered our undercosted threat. It's a race. They've got so much bounce and just shenanigans that I'm not certain this race will... Okay, second Tarmogoyf. I mean, we're doing it. Just like I threw my 4-mana birdie into counter magic. We're just going to go for the beats here. Tarmogoyf number 2. Let's see what they have here. Okay. So they might be out of counter magic, playing out their critters now. Gets another counter on the Brineborn Cutthroat, and they get their 2/2 Flash Reach creature. That card is such an upgrade for the Simic Flash deck. Nice 2-drop that plays right into the plan. Ooh, they're passing. Let's see, and we got our Arcanist Owl, so we get some dross. And I guess they don't like what's in their hand, because they were not dead there. But the Arcanist Owl was an amazing draw. Would have kept us all right up on resources. So we are off to our 3rd game. We got a couple more points towards gold. Ranking, getting to gold with this All That Glitters is Gold deck. I like this hand. It looks like we're playing mono red. Hand's a little slow for mono red, but we get to start just deploying cantrip and critters here. Robin Hood. What did they get? They got an Arcanist Owl off of their Robin Hood, and we take 2. That card is just... Remember when red didn't even get 2/2s for 2? They didn't even get bears. Now they get bears with haste, reach, draw a card written on it. Power creep is something. I am going to do a small change of plans to get this Robin Hood off of the board and then start deploying our cantripping boys, because I don't want Robin Hood to just ball out of control. Like if they hit a Steel Overseer, the next turn they just attack us, get that down. Rimrock Knight. Our opponent has some spicy ideas for what mono red should look like in best of 1. I guess let's start drawing cards. If we're really worried about our life total, we can deploy 1 mana 1/1 off of that Stonecoil Serpent. But I think we can still save up for a big Serpent. Argument also for just playing a 4 mana 4/4 Serpent there, but we've got more mana still in hand. They're going to Slaying Fire our 3/4. Fair enough. Shock our Dome. We go to 16, and they're going to Rimrock up to hit us for another 5. So I guess I see the Rimrock Spice. We're still at 11 now, and they only have 1 card in hand and 1 card pseudo in hand. And we can just go ahead and go 3-drop, 2-drop here, build to the board. Did the old pump fake with my land. Why can't I play another land here? Alright, so they've got double Rimrocks now. I think I will actually just go ahead and block and trade with the Clockwork Servant there, because we already got 1 card off of it. Oh, and they're gonna Chandra's Pyrohelix us, ping that down, deal us for 1. These are not really cards I expect to see in Mono Red. I don't know if these quite make the cut. We've got 6 mana now. We could double spell or Giant Stonecoil. Giant Stonecoil seems sweet, especially if they're on Stone Nothings. So now, oh yeah, let's make our boys gigantic. Get you for 10. Oh, that I'm not gonna try this thing. Oh, and they're just gonna scoop it up. Yeah, it's really, really hard for Mono Red to answer a 10. Alright, let's keep grinding some All That Glitters is Gold. This hand... Oh, sorry, I realize that's probably annoying, riffling through it like that. I think I can keep this hand, but it's not... You know, it's low to the ground, but it's not amazing. Some serious thought to playing this Stonecoil as a 1-drop, and I think I will. Because knowing that they're on black-red, if it's the deck with things like Mayhem Devils, or I think it's Fireblade Artist, the 2/2 haste, the protection from multicolor could be important. But if it's Grixis, I guess protection from multicolor could still be important, but it could be less important since they're playing more of a control game. Yeah, they take our Overseer. That makes sense. Overseer was going to be good here. These caskets are probably not going to be great against a more controlling Grixis deck. Just to use my mana, and also to make this thing into a threat, and to play quickly and aggressively in best of 1, I'm going to All That Glitters it up. Okay. So they couldn't kill it at least, and just 2-for-1 us right out of the game. Okay, could be they're flooded on these Bedevils, because that does mean that protection from multicolored matters. I'll go ahead and remove the Narset, because we're stuck on 2, and if they're drawing infinite cards, that's bad for us. I wonder if they take the... Yeah, so I thought they might take the Owl, but I think it makes more sense to take... Yeah, well, we could have just deployed that turn to draw a card. Fair enough. Get you for 3. You know, even though it's just a 2-card combo, this is hitting pretty hard. Oh yeah, so this is definitely one of the Fires of Invention versions of Grixis. Drawn from Dreams is fairly clunky when you have to hard cast it. This means we're going to get in for another 3 here. And ideally we draw a land. Yes, and we can even make that get in for 4. And we draw a card. Let's do this thing. Oh yeah, Owl into Owl. That's how you cantrip. So they've got the option to Bedevil the Owl whenever they want. Do we want to play... Guess they're just done. Because one thing we could have done there that they were looking at is we could have played Glass Casket just to pump. So that's what they were worried about. Alright, let's do this thing. I like this hand. We've got the ideal 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop curve for this deck. So we'll deploy the Stonecoil Serpent as a 1. There's some form of green-white deck, maybe Bant Ramp or something. Oh, Guildgate, so it looks like probably Gates or Golos or something. So we'll get you for 1, play our Steel Overseer. The Mystic Forge might not look like it, but it was actually a pretty okay draw, because we'll be able to deploy our hand quickly and then use Mystic Forge to keep having late game value. Alright, that's even a pretty solid land drop for next turn. So we will deploy these things. Go ahead and main phase the Steel Overseer tap so we can get in for 2. That's the ideal curve out. 8 power and toughness by turn 3. It's not crazy busted. I mean, you can easily get more than that with like Rotting Regisaur or something and playing some Dorks earlier, but it's really not bad considering we have the restriction of being mono-white artifacts, and it just threatens to ball out of control, especially if they're going to take this much time on the ramp portion. But realistically, we imagine a Wrath is coming next turn, so let's just try and get in as much damage as possible this turn and play around Wrath by not deploying our creature and just play our value engine. We also get to see what's coming, and we can get rid of that if we don't like it. But I actually kind of like, if they don't Wrath, the ability to, if they just have spot removal or blockers, the ability to force the issue with All That Glitters could be worthwhile. Hydroid Krasis. This is the worst case scenario for our opponent, because we've got Glass Casket in hand, so we get to just have everything work out so well here. This feels really good. So Glass Casket can hit the Krasis, we can pump the Dorks, and swing for 1,000,000. That is the power of All That Glitters is gold, baby. All That Glitters is gold. It's basically Modern Affinity. Oh, and we did it. Yes! What a match to end on. We just glittered our way to gold. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, so I actually got my gold so I could get my silly video. Who says we don't bring you real hard-hitting, humorous content here at Community Matters Cast. But my thoughts on the deck, actually I kind of like it. I mean, 8 cards that draw you a card and also contribute to the board are actually pretty solid. You can kind of see why that cantripping Merfolk that just rotated out of Standard and is also a big deal in the modern Merfolk deck. You can see why that card is so good, because 2-mana 2/1 draw card is just good because it replaces itself, and Clockwork Servant did some of that for us in this deck too. It just felt really great to cast these. And then we also got to treat Shambling Suit like it was Tarmogoyf sometimes, and use All That Glitters like it was Temur Battle Rage sometimes. So the deck is mostly a meme deck, but it could have some potential legs, specifically in Best of One, which I tend to build decks for. That way we can utilize the sideboard as a wishboard rather than a real sideboard. But I had a lot of fun with this deck, and I'll probably play it some more. It should be pretty budget. I mean, we're mostly uncommons. This is a limited deck. But yeah, give it a try if you're interested, and help me tweak it. Meditate on that wishboard. There's also an argument maybe it could be mono blue, because then you have access to Temri and you can cast your artifacts out of the graveyard for a more resilient version that still gets Clockwork Servant and the Owl. So maybe there's something here to this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this meme video, and thank you for watching Community Matters Cast.